I used to think workplace drama was petty, until a woman I trusted looked me dead in the eyes and blamed me for losing my baby. That was the moment something inside me changed. My name is Emily Carter. And back then, I worked at a healthcare insurance office in downtown Chicago. Nothing glamorous, just rows of gray cubicles, stale coffee, fluorescent lights, and people pretending they cared about each other long enough to survive a shift. And honestly, I thought Olivia was one of the good ones. We'd worked together for almost 2 years. Lunch breaks together, coffee runs, complaining about management. She even knew about my husband, Jake, and how hard we'd been trying for a baby. So when I found out I was pregnant, she was one of the first people I told. At first, everything felt perfect. I remember sitting on the bathroom floor at 2 a.m., staring at the pregnancy test with tears in my eyes, while Jake half slept against the door asking, "Emma, are you okay?" I couldn't even speak. I just opened the door and handed him the test. The look on his face. God, I still remember it. For the first time in months, life felt soft again. But happiness can disappear fast. About 9 weeks into the pregnancy, I started having cramps at work. At first, I ignored them. I told myself it was normal stress, hormones, anything but the thing I was terrified of. Then came the bleeding. I was in the office bathroom shaking so badly I could barely text Jake. The doctor later confirmed what I already knew in my gut: miscarriage. I felt hollow after that. Not dramatic crying all day hollow. Worse, quiet hollow. Like somebody had reached inside me and removed something important. But I still went to work. Looking back now, maybe I shouldn't have. But bills don't stop. Because your heart breaks. Rent in Chicago wasn't getting cheaper. And neither were hospital visits. My manager, Mr. Reynolds, was surprisingly understanding. For 2 days, he let me come in late and leave early because the cramps were unbearable. That was it. 2 days. I never stopped working. But apparently, that was enough to make Olivia angry. She'd already been getting warnings for constantly showing up late. 20 minutes here, 30 there. Everyone noticed it. One Thursday morning, she stormed toward my desk while half the office watched. "You know," she snapped, dropping her bag onto her chair, "it must be nice getting special treatment." I blinked at her. "What?" "You heard me. I get pulled into meetings for being late, but you get to come and go whenever you want." I remember staring at her, completely stunned. Because in my head, this was my friend. So I lowered my voice and quietly said, "Olivia, I had a miscarriage." For a second, she just looked at me. And then everything got worse. "Oh my God, Emily," she said loudly, throwing her hands up. "I told you that you were pregnant." People nearby started looking over. "You should have been home recovering instead of being here," she continued. Honestly, this is probably why it happened. My chest tightened instantly. She kept going. "You don't take care of yourself. You push yourself too hard and then act surprised something goes wrong." I couldn't move, couldn't speak. "I'm a woman too," she said. "I know how this works. Don't be shocked if you have trouble getting pregnant after this." I swear the office went silent. Then she grabbed her phone and said, "Whatever. I'm going on break," and walked away. Just like that. Meanwhile, I was sitting there trying not to completely fall apart in front of 30 people. I somehow made it to the bathroom before I started crying. Not the soft kind either. The ugly kind. The kind where your chest hurts so badly you can't breathe correctly. I stayed in that stall for almost 15 minutes wondering how somebody who claimed to care about me could say something so cruel. Especially another woman. Especially someone I trusted. After that day, something changed in me. I stopped eating lunch with Olivia. Stopped joking with her. Stopped speaking unless it was work-related. I moved desks to the other side of the office near the senior claims department and kept my headphones in most of the day. And honestly, the silence felt safer. But Olivia hated being ignored. A week later, she suddenly started acting sweet again. Like nothing happened. She came to my desk smiling with a small pink gift bag. "Happy birthday," she said loudly. I looked at the bag, then at her, and calmly said, "No thank you." Her smile disappeared instantly. "What?" I said, "No thank you." You're seriously still upset? Still upset. Like she'd forgotten every word she said to me. After that, she kept trying to force interactions. Asking me to lunch. Trying to coordinate breaks. Messaging me random things she could have Googled herself. I answered professionally. Nothing more. And that drove her insane. A few days later, things escalated again. At our office, we'd started training on a new claims software system. Only a few senior employees had access to it while the company prepared for a full transition. I was one of them. The old system stayed minimized while we worked inside the new application. Apparently, Olivia noticed that. What I didn't know was she'd been watching my monitor from across the aisle. One afternoon, she came to ask if I wanted lunch and saw the old application minimized again. She immediately assumed I wasn't working. Instead of asking me like a normal person, she ran to management, actually reported me, claimed I was slacking off and making other employees pick up my workload. The funny part? Every bit of productivity in that office was tracked digitally. Every task, every claim, every minute. And my numbers were consistently among the highest on the floor. So when she marched into Mr. Reynolds' office trying to get me in trouble, it backfired spectacularly. Apparently, he calmly explained that I was testing the new software with 2 senior team members. But Olivia doubled down. Well, she never communicated that to me, she argued. Mr. Reynolds asked her why she needed that information in the first place. She had no answer. Then he asked for examples of me failing to communicate work-related tasks. Again, nothing. By the time he called me into his office the next morning, I was emotionally exhausted. I thought maybe I was in trouble somehow. Instead, he closed the door gently and asked, "Emily, what's really going on here?" And for the first time since the miscarriage, I told someone everything. The office confrontation, the comments, the blame, the fertility remark, everything. The entire time, his expression kept getting darker. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair and sighed heavily. First, he said quietly, "I'm very sorry for your loss." That almost broke me right there. Because unlike Olivia, there was no judgment in his voice. Just kindness. Then his tone changed completely. "You do not owe anyone explanations for what you're going through," he said firmly. "And what she said to you was completely unacceptable." He told me from that point forward Olivia was no longer allowed to communicate with me directly unless absolutely necessary. Everything had to go through email or the office messenger. He also told me to document every interaction moving forward. And honestly, for the first time in weeks, I could breathe again. The change in Olivia was immediate. She stopped coming near my desk, stopped trying to talk to me. She even rotated her monitor away from mine so she wouldn't have to look at me. And the weirdest part? I don't think she was angry anymore. I think she was embarrassed. Because for the first time, someone finally saw through her behavior. But the strongest revenge I ever got was recovering peacefully while she slowly destroyed her own reputation. And if I learned anything from all of this, it's this. The people who truly care about you will never use your pain as a weapon. The others? Believe them the first time they do. If this happened to you at work, would you report it or just cut them off and move on like I did? And if you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories like this.